the idea of what kept coming through about the stairway is to look at something that we don't believe is there and possible for us. We have an image like this after death, and maybe I'm going to get somewhere, but we don't understand that it's an everyday, all day thing. And going back to Padre's talk, and he talked about the idea of being considered terminal diseases or a terminal situation. First thing I want to say is we're all terminal in God's timing with us. This body is impermanent. Everything that's going to be is as a limited time span, but we are eternal. And what happens is when we're given a death sentence on the physical data points of this is terminal, you can't buy into that, because even scalar physics says that any possibility can happen when you bring 2 points together at the same moment. Anything can happen. That's a proven scientific point that backs up God's miracles all the time. And we keep thinking God's miracles, I don't know whether they drop in or they only happen on special occasions, like that lady that Padre was talking about wanted it during the healing session, but she got it on the way home. Sometimes you might get it months or years later, maybe even lifetimes later, in terms of a prayer being answered. So you have to consider it's not about what we know, it's about what we planned and trying to stay on time with that. What God are you talking to? You've heard me talk about this before, but I got to reiterate it over and over again, because oftentimes I was always given this choice of, are you relating to a loving God? Are you relating to an angry and wrathful God? I really didn't like those two choices. I mean, you're always going to want to choose the loving God, but when you only have a teeter-totter, every time I'm not in the loving God, I experience something happening to me that feels like misfortune or something that feels like it's against me. And we want to jump to those conclusions, God's angry. I want you to consider there's a third option, though, that God is beyond. It's beyond the idea of angry or loving. I mean, God is loving. I don't think God's ever wrathful. But my sense is the God that is so vast, it doesn't have any constrictions. Nothing goes wrong in God's timing. And everything comes back to God. Even hell exists within God. God's just waiting for everybody to get tired of hanging out there and calling it, a great restaurant. Now, I want to skip the part of the history part. I want to get to the research. Research shows that those who believe in a wrathful God are more likely to suffer from depression, anxiety disorders, and deep illnesses than those who believe in a loving and merciful God. And you're like, yeah, what are you talking about? Well, there was a research study done about early breast cancer survivors and what their belief system was in terms of a God. And they considered several variables, like that it could be a benevolent God, but if you believe that God was angry, then it became an authoritarian God who helped you, but it would punish you. But if you didn't believe in God, then it was an either distant God or a critical God. And those that had any of the distant, critical, or authoritarian seemed to have less survival rates and less recovery times, and probably less change or healing. That being said, my sense is we got to get out of that spot. So we want to move over to that loving God. There's so much reference point for that too. There's just all these qualities of God being said of how great it is, how good it is, how helpful it is, how loving it is, how merciful it is, and how truthful it is. And that was always backed up by me searching other religions and realizing there were even all sorts of gods that were considered loving, female, male, etc. And they were always caring about their people. But I wanted to understand God that way. Even in these traditions, the wrathful gods were always considered to be destroyers of things that were internally stopping you. So on the left, near Shima, was a personal protection god and a destroyer of material desire. And on the right, that's a Tibetan, Mahakala is a wrathful deity, and he's the destroyer of the poisons of ignorance, desire, and anger. So they were never around to actually be mean to you. They were actually there to cut through the attachments that we have that lead us down the wrong path. I experience God as a teacher. So I go to the last level where I see God as beyond all this stuff, even beyond light. I mean, light is the highest frequency that we use in a body form, but beyond light is energy. Even Einstein got stuck in that when he said as M equals MC squared, or E equals MC squared. C squared was the speed of light, and he realized, oh, that is limiting how far it can go. You can go even farther. And in every tradition, they see or talk about God as being the light that's come to the world. And in the golden rule, the idea is to see that light and that compassion or that love in you, in another, and understand that's God. And that essence of all the religions is always love. It's always this compassion love, not a neurological love, but an understanding love, one of tolerance, one of kindness, and how to show it to our fellow human beings. And truly, unless you change and become like that child you were, that child spirit, that awareness that you truly are, you can never get back to the original place you came from. So we have to do it. We have to become it. And the moment you find that innocence again, you found that direct line to the divine. And that's what happens during our retreats. I watch it all the time. I watch people give up who they think they are with their problem, and they're sitting there realizing, I'm helpless. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm crying. And all of a sudden you're innocent. And then what's happening, you start to synchronize with the heartbeat of the universe, and your heart opens. And it's not this idea like you can open your heart, like I'm going to open my heart. No, it's a choice of moving to the innocence, and the heart opens. And when that happens, you're like a vacuum and God comes in. And when God comes in, then the miracle that's needed will happen.